Good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing this morning? Welcome to In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am your host, Kimberly Dixon. While I'm waiting, before I get started, I'm just going to take an opportunity to invite some people. I hope everyone has had a fantastic week. We are going to be taking a look at the butterfly garden this morning, and then just talking about some things really quickly, just to help you. Well, I know it's not the official start of the week, but to help you get motivated for the week to come. So we got a couple of people watching, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, a few weeks ago, I showed you all the butterfly garden, and I am absolutely, well, first of all, can someone let me know if you can hear me okay? Because I'm using my Bluetooth. Because in the front of the house, you can hear the traffic from the highway really well. So please let me know if you can hear me well. Good morning to everybody that's watching. So, let's start this butterfly garden tour. First of all, we have here, this is a perennial verbena, which means it comes back every year and it spreads. And this one here actually didn't survive the winter, and I took a piece of the other one during the spring and just stuck it in the ground, and this is the result of it. This is Creeping Jenny. Good morning, Jay. You can hear me. Thank you. That is the hosta, which it has already bloomed and died, but it is still gorgeous. I love my echinacea plants. They are so pretty, and they invite so many pollinators, bees and butterflies. This is basil, guys. It's a herb that you can use in your kitchen, but I'm letting it go to flower because butterflies and bees love it. Bumblebees, that is. And it smells absolutely phenomenal when I'm sitting on my little bench, sharing some time with my beautiful, beautiful father. He's not here in the physical anymore, but he is always with me. Lord, I love that man. And this is patches of obsession-eyed verbena. So this is an annual plant, but our winter is so mild that these survive the winter. It is a variety of the very same thing over there, except for that one is a perennial. It's supposed to come back. This one is an annual. It's supposed to die, but it didn't. More beautiful echinacea in a different color. My brother Malcolm started this from seed last year, and just as Joyful Living Garden is famous for, I share things with them. They share things with me, and I love to see what gardening does. Gardening is all about community. That's my little piece of porcelain that survived, and I cut it back severely because it was falling over. The other perennial verbena is huge. We got chives that are about to bloom. This is actually celery, y'all. Can y'all tell us? Look at those leaves. That's celery. But it blooms too once you let it go to seed. And this is one of the things that really makes a butterfly garden a butterfly garden. This is milkweed. It provides nectar and a place for monarch butterflies. And so if you want those pretty kind of orange, yellow looking butterflies in your garden, you're going to absolutely have to have milkweed. And it self-seeds, and it has the little things on it so that it blows through the wind, so that in the coming years it'll come up in different spots. So we have a couple of those, just so that we have lots of different, I'm trying not to step on anything. So this plant, it was so little when I got it. I had no idea how big this thing get. This is called lantana. It is so pretty, and again, it's one of the things that invites pollinators. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Watana. Elephant ears that were given to me by Peggy Tatum. She's a gardener too. So that is scarlet sage. Again, sage is a herb that we use in the kitchen. But all of these things, they will flower and attract the pollinators that you need. That is pineapple sage. It has the most delicious scent to it. And it makes a wonderful, wonderful hot tea or cold. Traditional sage. And then another red scarlet. So as you can look around, it's a lot of stuff out here. And some might think that it's too much, but I love it because it's like sitting in a secret garden. And when you see the abundance of butterflies just fluttering around out here, it is absolutely magical. Because I stop literally every time I come out of the front door and I look at this garden. And even so my 13-year-old son does the same thing. And last year, when the school was still in, at the very beginning of the school year, he would run in the door and be like, I saw this or I saw that. So it's teaching him about nature. And he's scared of bugs and wasps and flying insects. But I'm teaching him how to be more comfortable around those things, because life is hard. And who wants to have to stay indoors all the time because you're scared of insects? So if the more comfortable he gets with them now, the more he'll be able to enjoy being outdoors. But let's go ahead and get into our topic this morning. So I titled this "In Your Own Eyes," because, you know, we hear so much about what other people say and what other people think and what other people do, and the impact that it has on our life. But what I want you to remember and really think about today is that your success or your failure depends on you. In your own eyes. How do you view you? Terry Henry said, I love when the kids notice nature. Girl, yes. But what we think about ourselves, it matters. Whether we think we're going to succeed or whether we're going to fail, that we are absolutely right. So in your own eyes, how do you view yourself? What do you think of yourself? So that reminds me of Nehemiah chapter 13, when the spies were sent out to survey the land. Some of them came back and said, the land is full of giants. We look like grasshoppers compared to them. Nobody told them they were a grasshopper. But when they looked at the other person, they had these own internal issues where they immediately saw their size and they thought their size was insignificant and insufficient. Nobody said they were a grasshopper. Nobody told them you're not good enough. Nobody told them that you're not strong enough. Good morning, Chris. Y'all, that actually is my baby, but you know, because he can't be on social media, we use a pseudonym. But nobody told them that they weren't good enough. But they went out, they looked at the giants, and they automatically said, hey, we look like grasshoppers compared to them. We're not good enough. We will never be able to defeat them. When that was absolutely not true. But some of the other people went out, and they came back, and they reported like, they gave their report of their land, and they said it looks like it's flowing with milk and honey. Milk and honey means we're going to eat good every day. They didn't say anything about the giants. All they saw was the opportunity. So this is what I want you to think about. When you're looking at life, do you see that all the things that could potentially stop you, or do you see the opportunities? There are opportunities that are boundless. Good morning, Letitia. I haven't seen you in such a long time. There are boundless opportunities around us. There are going to be opportunities to do things you've never done before, to explore things, to go through doors that have never been opened before. But if you look at that opportunity and automatically start thinking about the potential setbacks, the potential challenges, then you never do anything. You never go anywhere because you're stuck looking at what could possibly happen. So years ago, when I did my first seminar, I entitled it More Than a Conqueror. And the whole topic, everybody that came, we all talked about some component of fear. And the major thing about that was that fear can keep you stuck in the same place for your whole life. Or you can look at life and see the opportunities that are available to you. So a lot of people, they make all these what if scenarios in their head. What if something goes wrong? What if I never take a road trip, because what if I have a flat tire? What if I get lost? And actually, on our first camping trip, maybe it was the second one this year, my son got lost walking around the little area. The amount of time he hadn't come back in, I knew he was lost, but I also knew that he wasn't lost because I knew the area, and I knew that it was nothing but a loop. So I got in the car. When I found him, I comforted him, but then I took that as an opportunity to tell him what to do when he feels lost and not panic. That's the first thing. Don't panic. So don't look at life as all of these scary things, possibilities that could happen, negative things that could happen. Look at, say, maybe something magical happens. Maybe something great happens. Maybe I get an opportunity to do something I've never done before. So just that simple switch in your own eyes. Turn your maybes or what ifs into maybe this is going to be something phenomenal. Maybe last year this butterfly garden didn't look like much of anything because it was brand new and the plants hadn't gotten started. But if you look at it now, this is my own magical little garden. Now, technically, if you ask any landscaper or whatever, good morning, Barry, they may say that it's a little bit too much stuff in here, but this is exactly what I wanted it to look like. I wanted it to be overgrown and lush and full so that, oh, y'all, the wind just blew and I smelled sage and basil all at the same time. It's doing exactly what I wanted to do. So I knew that, yes, when I put all of this stuff in here, it might look a little crowded, but I also knew the vision that I had for it, and what if it happens? And it did. So now this is a space that is just absolutely pleasing to me. Doesn't have to be pleasing to anybody else. What do you think? What is it that you want, and what are you willing to do to get it? That's within moral and legal boundaries. Now, don't go out here just doing all kind of nonsense, stepping on people, leaving a trail of broken people behind you to get what you want. But in your own mind, if we are capable of so much more than we ever can imagine or think, but we set these limitations on ourselves, and we don't strive for things because we are focused on the negative, the things that could potentially go wrong. And again, using my son as another example, I'd never been a parent, but I decided I always wanted to be a foster parent, but because of life, it just didn't happen. And by the time I was truly ready to do it, I was like, oh my God, I'm over 50 now. I could have focused on all the reasons why I shouldn't, but instead I focused on all the reasons why I should. So that's what I want you to do today. I want you to focus on the reasons why you should. Change your mindset so that when a new opportunity comes up, that you see all the great things that could happen as opposed to all the negative things that might happen. Yes, we're going to have some setbacks, some challenges. We might struggle with some things in life, but I don't ever want you to let a struggle stop you from being how great you really are. Because when I tell you that you are phenomenal, that you are capable of changing this world, you are. Because people will say that one person can't change the world. I don't believe that. I think that when I do something to have positive impact and influence on Tara, on Lori, on Jay, on Kim, on my sisters and brothers, then they do something that changes somebody else's life, and then the circle just continues. Everything in life is a circle. It goes around and around. So when we put that energy out there, it changes one life, that changes another life, that changes another life. But I want you to remember, in Nehemiah 13, they went out, they saw the giants, and they said, we look like grasshoppers. But then others went out, and they said, it looks like the land is flowing with milk and honey. I want you to figure out who it is that you want to be. Do you want to be that person that sees the opportunities, or that person that focuses on the negative and never does anything with your life? We are all capable of great things. And guess what? It might not be the same thing. Tara, I use you as an example all the time. But that's because we do similar things. It's not the same thing, but we do similar things. She has the Woosah Oasis. I have the Joyful Living Garden. But guess what? We support each other. We gift each other plants and stuff. We share our knowledge. That child knows more about insects and animals than I do. But we encourage each other so that both of our gardens grow and that they flourish and that people want to come over and be a part of what we're doing. So because there are so many people that have started gardening for the first time or either gotten back into gardening because of what they've seen Tara doing and because of what they've seen me doing. It's not the same thing, but we support each other. We love each other, and we are growing something in our garden that's so much bigger than flowers and vegetables. So I want you to think about the things that you are capable of. And even if somebody else, I was waving at my neighbor, everybody, they see me outside all the time. But even if it's something similar to what somebody else is doing, don't you dare let that stop you. You go ahead. There are so many people that are doing things that are around joy. But instead of having envy and jealousy for each other, we support each other. It's a big difference. And in that support, y'all, a hummingbird moth just flew up. Let me see if I can capture it. It's a tiny one, but that's a hummingbird moth. The little wings flutter like hummingbirds, but it's actually a type of moth. Okay, I got sidetracked. Y'all, I like insects. I don't know what to tell you. But in your own mind, I want you to start thinking about how phenomenal you are, how great you are, how strong you are, how even when I want you to learn that even when you're anxious and you're nervous about something, all it requires is that you take one step and then you take another one. And then eventually you'll be able to look up and see how far you've come. Don't get stuck in your own head by your past, by things that have never even happened to you. They may have happened to somebody else. Don't let that stop you. I want all of us to be great because we are capable of greatness. It's in all of us. Tara said, those are so cool. I've been keeping an eye out for one. The hummingbirds are definitely here. You know, I haven't seen a single hummingbird over here. So, you know, I'm out in the country, but I'm really close to Highway 64. And I think that has run my insects off. I saw a dragonfly fly yesterday for the very first time this whole season. And I went out on the back porch one morning, Tara, and a little bumblebee had died, and it was, you know, laying out. Y'all, I almost cried because I know how important those things are to my garden. And my cucumbers aren't doing right because there's just not enough pollinators, but I think it's the highway. The pollution from the highway is killing my little insects that are vital to my garden. But anyway, it's part of the Joyful Living Garden. So I hope you guys enjoyed the update on the butterfly garden. I just feel happy when I'm sitting in this space, y'all, because my daddy was a nature-loving something. I can remember the very first time my brother Floyd went fishing. He came back covered in sand because he fell in a lake. But he started taking us fishing at a very early age. We started just spending time outdoors. And now all of my siblings, we're outdoor people. So it starts really early. If you keep your children locked in the house and you and make them afraid of being outdoors, then that's going to carry over into adulthood. But you can teach them how to be safe in nature and still appreciate it. I'm not afraid of snakes, but if I see one, I know about not to mess with it. I'm going to let it go on its way. I'm not going to mess with it. It's not going to mess with me. And when I'm outside, if I'm gardening for real, I have on closed-toed shoes. So guess what? In case I step on one and it strike, it ain't going to bite me. Tara said the ants have done the most pollinating. Yep, they sure have. How's the watermelon doing? I'll show y'all mine next week. But Guys, I want you to go out this next week and just think about whenever you see an opportunity, how great you are. And in the 12th grade, I was in a probability and statistics class, and I know y'all have heard this story again, but I'm going to keep telling it because it's one that's worth telling. I was one of 2 black people in the whole class, and at that time we would have 25 or 30 students in there. And the other student, she had been out sick, so in that time she was stronger at math than I was, and we would help each other. But she hadn't been there in weeks, and we had gone over a new chapter, and today was test day. And my teacher walked up and she looked at my paper, and I hadn't done anything. She said, "I'm sad about these watermelons. They look like they're struggling. I'm coming to see them. We might be able to save them." I am going to come see them, though, because there may or may not be something that we can do to help them along, because it's still early enough in the season where you might be able to get 1 or 2 of them. But she came up and she looked at my paper, and she was like, "Kim, you've done the work. You've done the homework. You've participated in class. You know this." And she looked at me in the face and she said, "You can do this." And it seemed so insignificant then. Well, I completed my test. I passed it. But I found myself through the years, whenever I was faced with a challenge or whenever I felt uncertain about something, I would tell myself in the third person, "Kim, you can do this." Something so simple. I want you to find you a mantra, someone has said to you, or something positive that you have thought about yourself. And when you find yourself in a challenging situation, repeat that phrase to you. It may not be the same thing that motivated me, but find something that's personal that will help you get out of your own head and help you meet those challenges that you face in life. So guys, thank you for joining this episode of In the Garden with Joyful Living. I hope you enjoyed seeing the pollinator garden, my butterfly garden. I wish this was in the back of the house so my vegetables could benefit from it, but I'm benefiting from it in the front of the house, so we still good. Just let nature be itself. But guys, thank you again for watching. I love you all. Hey, Nikita, thank you for joining, honey. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.